Figured I'd have one last vid for tonight. I've got so much anxiety going on. I haven't been able to sleep for shit. Just trying to get my head clear. Yeah. Trying not to let it go down paths that it really shouldn't go down, and should know better. I'm just, yeah. It's been a long day, and a lot of it's just been pretty much sitting alone. I mean, not like it's anything new. Just burned out really bad, a lot of anxiety. Just overwhelmed by everything, and, same old shit, basically. I'm just trying to, each day that I'm up and out and about, I'm trying to do something, keep myself moving. Yesterday I really couldn't do too well because, yeah, my back's just been giving me shit, and it was actually making me, starting to make me feel sick yesterday. But right now, I mean, I'm doing alright for most part. Still got a bit of a headache from it, but I'm just exhausted. I hit a point where I'm just so exhausted that I'm just having trouble sleeping. I can't get my brain to shut off. I try to focus on, kind of like working on, I don't remember if it was one of my earlier vids, but focus on working on my next book, continue working on it, but I'm just having a lot of trouble. It just really, sorry, I'm just trying to pull up some sort of positive music that I like to listen to, just to kind of help redirect my brain too a little bit. Put on some Phil Wickham. No, that's a little loud. A little too loud for me tonight. Do some Leland Waymaker. Another good song. No, I'm just trying to keep my brain from going down any stupid paths and all. And yeah, I'm trying not to allow myself to keep dwelling on shit as far back as even high school. So I'm just doing what I can, I mean, sitting here alone non-stop, other than, I had dinner with the neighbors, but other than that, I've just been sitting alone the whole time. Just like up at my folks' place. Sitting alone the whole damn time. A lot of it's just, again, the same old shit. Just a waiting game to get things going and all that once this house stuff is done. It's just all a waiting game right now. And the thing I don't like about these waiting games is, like anybody else, your brain starts to go places like, well, shit, how long is this going to be? It's like, the knowing that, things are right there, just not knowing how soon or how late it's actually going to be there. It just keeps the suspense and the stress and the anxiety and even the confusion just going. And having that going in combination of, I'm still healing from things, obviously. But I'm also just, I'm also struggling with a lot of other things too. I'm trying not to get my hopes up on different things. It's like I've got my set plans, and all I can do is just have faith that, you know, it all gets seen through. I'm tired of the fucking word I. I was gonna try and maybe even go for a walk a little bit yesterday. Just don't have it in me to do that here. It's like this place just, like, I do all right over here at the neighbors and all that, but at the same time, I don't feel safe at that house. I don't feel safe on that property. Like, that place just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. There's just too much. It's stressing. It's too many bad experiences under that roof in too short of time. And nothing good. Just moments that seemed like it was good, but really it was just, it felt like it was just bullshit. Like, the more I looked on it, it was just bullshit. It was just to keep me kind of hooked or hung on while I was getting used. So it was just, being alone all the time, that definitely has helped me, have more faith in God. And yeah, I do talk to him. I don't expect any verbal responses or anything like that. It's just, it kind of feels less crazy having someone like God to talk to than just literally yourself. I might as well just be like Golem and yeah, that type of shit. Yeah, I try to crack jokes every now and then, even when I'm not feeling the best or just not in the greatest mood. It's just part of me. But at the same time, I'm still tired of, like, being alone all the time. I'm tired of feeling alone all the time. And it's like, even around what few people I hang around with. And I do mean few people right now. I do talk to different ones, and some I've been trying to get together with. Because of where I'm at right now in my mind, mentally and emotionally, I'm just not feeling comfortable being around some people that I haven't seen for a while. Or others, I can talk to and go visit, like Nate and my buddy Ed. Some of these others I'm kind of struggling with right now. And it's not necessarily on them. It's just, I'm trying not to look too far backwards. It's like, nobody was there through some of the worst shit I've had to deal with in my life. Some of. And it's like, who do you turn to and all that when, yeah. There's some that, like my buddy Nate, he was always there. That's one of the few people I can talk to about things. Ed, same thing. He feels like a brother to me. He feels like, it's like a big brother to me. And so he's somebody else I can talk to, and I respect his input and his knowledge and all that on things. I'm just trying to avoid getting tripped up and going down certain paths. I'm trying to stay focused on this creation of my own career. Trying to better my life. And at the same time, one of the things that's kind of bothered me is and it has never stopped bothering me, is I miss my family. I miss them a lot. And it makes it hard to sleep sometimes. Sometimes I'm afraid of my dreams, and it's not because they're necessarily bad. It's just, I get afraid of what I might, what I might dream about. I'll just put it that way. Some people, it's just immediate, nope, nightmare, I can't, nope, wake up. Or others, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna wake up like like my chest is like literally gonna explode apart, and it's just really weird. On some of them, it's like your stomach goes right up in your chest, and you feel it like all trying to squeeze out, and it's just some weird shit. Yeah, some exorcist type stuff. No, it's I don't know how to explain it. It's like being on a roller coaster and a sudden dip, and everything goes right up into your chest. But at the same time, your heartbeat's like beating really super fast, like the adrenaline's going. It's like I don't normally have dreams like that. I used to have a lot of night terrors when I was a kid, growing up over the years, but I got used to them a lot of time. I actually got used to them for the most part. But some of these that I've been having lately, it's making things emotional in my sleep, and I don't like that. I guess that's the best way to more or less accurately describe it. It just, depending on who or what I dream about, I end up either waking up either like sweating and like in fear. It sounds funny. I know to someone who's watching this, they're probably laughing like, "Why? What the fuck for?" For others, it's like I wake up and it's just I don't know how to explain it. It's like there's an electric shock going right into your chest, and it's like, yeah. And sometimes I just want to stay asleep, but it's just so much like almost energy or adrenaline pumping through that it just wakes you up and like emotional. It's like this is some weird shit. And so I'm doing my best to even try and just kind of describe how I've been feeling here lately with some of this stuff, because I've got to learn how to communicate better. And so it's like, and some things I'm self-conscious about and uncomfortable about, and I've just been intentionally just how I feel is I've been humiliating myself almost every time I do one of these vids. Yes, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and yet I'm trying to break that, while at the same time letting people kind of see the process of how somebody like myself or any other person may deal with when going through when getting out of a very narcissistic abusive relationship. Some people might heal faster, others don't. As tempting as some people might think it is to just go out and just start sleeping around, like I there's this term that I heard from that person and their shitty friend. So I mean, it was there's things that it just stick out my head, and it's like, yeah. And their little comment was, the fastest way to forget someone is to fuck someone new. That's also one of the fastest ways to get an STD and destroy your relationship faster than shit, especially if you hope for anything more. Whether that person you're doing it behind their back knows or not, eventually it comes about. Yeah. But you're also putting yourself at risk in anybody else you decide to fuck around with. I don't suggest doing all that shit. Like, anything like somebody else does that is fucked up and wrong, don't do it. What's the point? At times it gets really tempting, and in moments there you start to slip, and then you got to catch yourself. You got to be like, no, I can't do that, because how does that necessarily make me any better than that person? I understand when it comes down to when somebody's being really fucking evil and has said a lot of bad things about you, the need to, the moment you get a chance to just be able to come out with what's going on, Sorry. Um, let's go back here. But I'm sidetracking right now. But it's though sure, sometimes fighting fire with fire might work, but you're not fighting a forest fire or anything like that. You're dealing with more of a mental, emotional, spiritual type thing when you're dealing with these types of situations. And if you can if you can't say anything right away, it's best to just say it as soon as you can, when you feel safe enough to just take everything and just let it out. Because if you take the time to just start documenting everything, whether it's pictures, videos, screenshots of messages, emails, all this shit, and just let it build up. Because at some point you're going to be able to just be like, this is what's been really going on, and I'll let you guys just figure it out yourselves, because I'm just too tired to keep battling this. There's a better life out there for people who are being treated that way. And sometimes you have to speak up and be like, no, you have to speak out and speak up. And it's like, if you're going to lie about me, I'm going to tell the truth about you, and then leave it at that. And let people decide on their own. And in that process, start focusing on the healing. Sometimes the best way to try and get past the hurt is to try and help someone in some way, because that it's the best way to kind of counter that pain that you're going through. It's not going to stop it. It's not going to keep you from hurting. It's not going to keep you from missing anybody or wanting, certain things to happen. But it starts to help redirect your energy into doing something more positive. It's like music. I learned a long time. For some reason, I realized a long time ago that, like most people, right after you have a bad breakup or something, or you go through something bad, you either listen to some really, really depressing music or some really angry music, or a combination of. And I got to a point, I realized that all the music was doing, it might have been reflecting my emotions, but all it was really doing was causing me to drag those thoughts and those feelings out more, and drag them out longer. It was getting harder for me to sort of heal from the pain. It was more or less prolonging it. And it's like I had to learn to stop doing that. And literally, as others know, and I've said before, I started listening to more and more Christian music, and that ironically is because of Katie Nicole. Of all things, I just skipped through the radio station because I couldn't find anything I wanted to listen to. I grew tired of a lot of the mainstream stuff, and like I said, there's things I'll listen to, from classic rock to old blues, jazz, classic country up up till a certain point. But I got to a point I just really stopped listening to a lot of it. I mean, yeah, you go down my playlist that I have on my YouTube thing, you'll find like 500-600 songs on there, and a lot of them aren't Christian songs. It's just, you'll see when I started transitioning out of that stuff. I'd still listen to, some of the others, a little Disturbed here and there and all that stuff. I mean, there's songs out there, from like Korn and Metallica and Megadeth, Rob Zombie, hell, even Marilyn Manson, stuff like that. I still like listening to once in a while. I just found that it's not stuff I want to listen to on a regular basis. Excuse me, because it kept that anger going. It kept that depression going, that sadness. It just kept it going. And it's okay to let those feelings, emotions to let go, to just let them to go through the process. Whether you're a man or a woman, it's okay. If you're a guy and You want to be the most toughest guy in the world. I don't know how many veterans out there I've seen who are some of the strongest, toughest people I've ever known cry like a little girl. It's doesn't matter who you are, it's okay. You gotta allow, you can't bottle the emotions too long. And I understand that for a lot of people, even for like myself, there's a place and a time for it. And a lot of times that I end up doing my grieving or mourning is obviously at night, like most people, where you're kind of behind closed doors, it's private, and you're going through the motions. And so I just recommend that people, especially when you're coming out of an abusive situation, your first thing shouldn't be is who can I find next to be with that might help me get through this. No, you gotta get through that initial shit on your own and deal with the heavy baggage, especially deal with that heavy baggage. Sometimes it might take you a while, but part of helping cope with it is kind of changing up those habits, like some of the things you're listening to, some of the things you're watching. Knowing to force yourself to just, even if it's just for short amounts of time, to even just go outside. Whether it's just go sit outside and just kind of just listen to, the world around you, mess around on your phone or whatever, just, whether it's gaming, social media, that type of thing, just something to get your mind off of the bullshit. Some people be like, find a book and read a book, but, not everybody likes to read a book. I'd like to read, a lot here and there. For some reason, I tend to read more, like, whether it's news or just information type stuff. And then fiction at times, too. I just like a combination or a mix of things. But, I just... there's the cliches of do your best to find the silver linings and stuff like that. It's a cliche, but it's a true one. A lot of it too is just learning to humor yourself a little bit, lighten yourself up. I would say lighten up, but some people might find that offensive, even if they told themselves to lighten up. But it's easier to cope and deal with things if you can somehow break your mind's focus on something to help deviate so it's not going further and further into that hole. Because the deeper you go, the harder it gets out. The harder it gets to get out. I'm not the type of person who also believes in when you go from one relation into the next, you want to start comparing one person to the other. There's things that you're going to do that you're going to look for certain traits or certain actions or certain habits that you're going to be like, no, I don't really want to be, we might be able to be friends, but no, this isn't going to work. You don't want to, put yourself in a position in essence to waste theirs or your time. And if you genuinely care about someone, sometimes you've got to be like, no, this can't go any further than this. And whether you communicate it or not, it's just better to dial it back and just be like, this isn't going to work. There's certain things that either you're doing or they're doing that you're going, this is going to trigger me. And I don't want to be in that position of going, I don't want to compare this situation to the next when there's certain similarities start going on. And nobody wants to be triggered to that. They want to be with somebody that, yeah, everybody's going to have habits. It's going to remind you of somebody else that you've been with before. It's just really kind of hard to avoid that. That's just a fact. It's really hard to avoid that. It's just, I guess you could say, paying attention to the ones that, you are going to, there really is going to be kind of an issue there or something. Like, it might eventually wear you down. There might be some things that you can be like, whatever, I can overlook it. It's annoying, but whatever. Quit picking your nose, or, you snore like a truck driver in the middle of the night. I know I snore every now and then. Sometimes I guess I can snore really loud when I'm finally, sleeping. Other times you don't hear me snore. But, there's quirks. That's what I would call them. There's more or less quirks that, people might have that are still going to be similar amongst other people you've been around or been with. And then there's, the traits that you're just going, okay, I really like mesh with this. I really like this person. We don't necessarily think the same, but we complement each other very well. Or we both have, we don't just have similar goals and need those types of similarities, but we tend to, you don't have to be twins or even complete opposites or anywhere in the spectrum for your relationship to work right. For people have, no matter how many differences you have, it's those differences that really, like, in my eyes, that really makes the relationships more important and more unique at that point, because both people have a lot of things to bring to the table and to offer at that point. If you got the same shit all the time, you want to help elevate each other and help bring each other to their best and better selves. You don't want to use those differences as a way to kind of kick the other one down or beat the other one down or what have you. You don't want to at first be like, yeah, this is great, this is perfect, this is a dream come true. Make the person think that, like, this is like the best that you're like the best, or you don't want the other person to think they're the best thing that ever happened in their life, and only for you to turn around and be like, you're a piece of shit, I want nothing to do with you, but I love you. Communication isn't just the only thing that's key in a relationship. I see a lot of relationships where people don't always communicate, verbally or in other ways, but they learn to recognize, people's body movements and stuff like that, and sometimes it can get confusing. I mean, for someone like me, it can get confusing if your facial expression doesn't really match your body movements. I can get confused by that. But I think a lot of it has to, I think everything starts with communication. But you can communicate with people that you have no trust in, no loyalty to, no respect for, all that. I mean, do you have any of that for the guy at the gas station that you might happen to, crack out in a conversation with them for 10, 15, 20 minutes? No. You might have compassion for these people that you don't know, but to have, like, genuine trust, respect, loyalty, and all that for those people, that takes time. And it takes more than just conversation. It takes experience and all that stuff. And a lot of that is built up when two people are really taking the time for each other, to prioritize each other, to not just learn about each other, but to learn how they function together and how to adjust to things that might not. For them to learn how to compromise on things too. You can't have. I would like to see a perfect relationship out there. I would like to see someone point out to one that is 100% absolutely perfect, where there's never going to be any differences, arguments, anything. There's not one out there. It does not exist. If it does, it's probably on a cartoon or in a TV show or in a movie. It's learning to take those moments that you learn to work together, just in general, just whether you're out working in the garden together or you're running a business together or anything like that. Those are like relationship skills. You're also learning to how to deal with certain challenges you might be dealing in private at home, and vice versa. Or just even like when you're out and about, like, if say you're struggling and your other half, like, they're giving you the support, the emotional, mental, spiritual type, even physical type support to help you in those moments, like when you're struggling or something might be going on, and vice versa. these are all experiences that people are learning to be able to get through those harder moments. But if you're not learning anything and all you're doing is just kicking each other down, what's the point of it? So I mean, excuse me, the whole, doing to others as you would have done to you, I think it is probably one of the biggest things that should be held actually pretty close to heart in any relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, whether it's a family relationship, an intimate relationship, a relationship with your child, all that stuff. You got to think about how you're treating, how they're treating you and how you're treating them. And if it gets to a point where all they do is treat you like crap and you're just kind of responding in the same way, after so long, it gets really difficult to tell who's, you know, the guilty party. Because over time, where it's a constant action to reaction to action to reaction, people might not, even in those types of relationships, might be going, okay, who's. You don't want to create those types of dominoes. And you don't want to lay out those types of dominoes to where it falls apart. I mean, realistically, if we're going to treat it like toys, you don't want a relationship that's stacked up and set up like dominoes, because, yeah, you knock it over and you've got to have the patience to reset it up and start over or what have you. And sometimes it can take just the lightest breath or shake or anything to knock it all over. But if you treat it more like like Legos, at least there's some stability there. You can create a nice solid foundation from it, and it can look colorful and fun too at the same time. So, I mean, and with those, you can at least create anything with it. Yeah, you can create some great images from the dominoes, but you have to destroy your work to do it. You don't have to do that with, a box of Legos, basically. And I know it's a strange analogy in comparison. But, see, as you can tell, just kind of refocusing my brain and all that stuff, from just the last 30 minutes, I've been able to kind of redirect how even I've been thinking and feeling. I still gotta somehow get myself tired, considering my meds don't get me tired. A lot of it is out of stress, anxiety. I am lonely. I miss my family. There are people out there I wish I could see and talk to, but I just don't think that'll ever be possible again. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say too much on that. I'm trying not to go backwards. But there are people I genuinely want to see again because I miss them very much. And it genuinely. I'm trying to think how to say this, okay? Because I'm trying not. Because it's uncomfortable. It's things that I haven't been able to verbally say in a very long time. Because I always had to live in fear of getting in trouble. I'm sorry. I miss my family. And it's the easiest way I can say it. I miss my family. I miss my family that was there before I went to sleep all those years ago and woke up into this mess. I miss my family. But I know I can't turn back time. I don't know what happened in that hospital. And I just gotta hope that my family can forgive me, and my son and all that. I just hope he can forgive me through whatever happened there, and the others involved. I don't know what happened. I'm definitely sorry for the last 12 years. And I don't want that person, the current ex, I don't want them to think I hate them. I hate what they did to me. And that's why I had to put a stop to that cycle immediately. I knew it was coming around again. And it needed to stop. All I know is things have to change. I can't keep living this way anymore. I couldn't keep living this way even 2, 3, 4 years ago. Even before we got the house. That's why we got the house. We were trying to change this shit. That's exactly what I was trying to do. And it didn't matter. So I just got to a point. I just knew that when this was going to come around, I knew it was coming around. Ouch. Oh, my arm. I just started shutting down because I knew. Yeah, I knew. I couldn't do anything until it was like outright, this is what's up. I'm still trying to avoid the whole speculate type shit. It's just, I don't want to be that. I don't want to become the person that hurt me. And I don't ever want anybody else to experience the things that I've had to go through. And even when it comes down to it, I don't want to see them have to experience what that person went through. I don't understand the levels of hate that actually exist in this world anymore. I just don't. I can't put my brain around it other than it's just nothing but of the devil. It's the devil, Bobby. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and try and cut it here. Like I said, even when things get really hard, instead of just trying to just outright you have right to defend yourself, you have right to speak up, you have right to scream loud when you finally can do so, when you break away from that person that's hurting you, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, anything like that. They're abusing you. And you don't feel safe to say anything. The moment you can, you say something. The moment you can get away, you get away. Even if they make it out like it's your fault and they're trying to throw you away, you know and you know that they're gonna just within a month, 2 months, 3 months, however long, the average, they're gonna pull some shit to keep you stuck with them. You need to break that cycle in any way possible. Even if you have a home and you've got kids involved, you need to sell that fucking home if you can and take those kids, and you need to leave for your safety and theirs. And it's for the safety of your mind and your emotions, and then the safety of your kids and anybody else you may end up getting involved later on down the line, because you do not want to take those damages that were done to you and have those things repeat, whether it's on you, because there's the habit of, some people have this habit where they, for some reason, will keep ending up with, even though they end up with somebody different, they end up with somebody who treats them kind of the same way. It's like being addicted to the abuse. You don't want that to continue, let alone you don't want to become the person that you were fleeing from. So that's why it's important. Take your time to heal. No matter how hard it is or what kind of emotional wreck or roller coaster you're going through, and it can last months, but as you're healing, it gets easier to kind of cope with it. You're still going to have your moments to break. But yeah, again, try and have a good night, guys. I didn't mean to ramble your ears off again for 40 minutes, but I'm just trying to get my mind redirected right now, and I'm trying to get myself to slow down and try and get some rest, because I've got another long drive tomorrow. So have a good night, guys, and thanks for watching. Good night.